Hello YouTube community. I've been meaning to create this video for a while now. This will be a small part of my analysis of Stanley Kubrick's science fiction film 2001: A Space Odyssey. Pre-production began in 1964-65 and the final picture was released in 1968. Initially it received mixed reviews, but since then most reviewers now praise the film for its stunning visuals. It received many nominations and won an Oscar for Best Special Visual Effects and BAFTA winner for Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, and Best Soundtrack. By this point in his career, Kubrick had some clout in Hollywood and was given the money by MGM to make the film any way he wanted. With his last film, Dr. Strangelove, he had 5 films under his belt, with each subsequent film getting technically better and recognition both commercially and critically. Kubrick had done 5 very different films, never staying too long with any one genre. The previous 5 films were The Killing in 1956, Paths of Glory in 1957, Spartacus in 1960, Lolita in 1962, and Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb in 1964. For his next film, Kubrick received many inspirations to make a truly outstanding and realistic-looking space travel film in the science fiction genre. There's a long history of what came before in science fiction available on the net, but for this video I would just like to focus on 3 inspirations. The first one obviously was Arthur Clarke's 1951 short story The Sentinel. It is a very short story and available in PDF format on the net. Essentially it tells the story of how humans find a strange object in the shape of a pyramid on the moon, and it is theorized that some advanced alien beings left it on the moon for 2 reasons. Since there's no environment on the moon, the Sentinel would not be damaged by floods, earthquakes, volcano eruptions, etc. And 2, it would only be discovered by humans once they reach the technical level of being able to land on the moon. The second inspiration was Robert Ardrey's 1961 non-fiction work African Genesis, a personal investigation into the animal origins and nature of man. Ardrey expounds the theory that after eating their prey, these early mammals used the bones of their prey as tools and as weapons. The third inspiration, Ikari XB1, a 1963 Czechoslovakian science fiction film directed by Jindřich Polák. It is based loosely on the novel The Magellanic Cloud by Stanislav Lem. The 1960s were an exciting time for space exploration, and this film was seen in the West. The film is also known as Voyage to the End of the Universe in English. And I believe it is currently available in 4K. Keeping these 3 as inspirations in mind, now let's look more closely at 2001. Also, I just want to say that I will not be making any film critique on the style, the art direction, the music, the acting, etc. But I'm just going to comment on the content of the film, what it says about humanity in the past, present, and future. My first critique is the backdrop for the first part of the film, The Dawn of Man. Despite the gains made by women and the rise of the feminist movement in the 1960s, Kubrick did not say humanity or mankind. He said Dawn of Man, and he meant it. Besides, Kubrick was not known to be generous with his actors, and especially female actors, in all his movies, including 2001, which is a movie about evolution, which requires both male and female humans to reproduce and evolve. But this film is about evolution of man. The setting in Africa. Surely, if early mammal life developed in Africa, there must have been a more conducive environment than a bunch of hominins around a stale pool of dirty water. Where's all the vegetation, fruits, flowers, and flowing rivers? Here again, it seems it was Kubrick's proclivity to stay inside an air-conditioned studio in Shepperton Studios, so he got a high-quality picture from what he thought prehistoric Africa would look like and projected it in the studio. It still amazes me that people watching the film today, and there are many reaction videos on YouTube of 2001, take it as a given that humanity arose around a stale pool of dirty water. But this stale pool of water was so precious that other hominins were willing to fight for it instead of searching for clean, fresh river flows. At about 12 minutes into the film, we see the monolith for the first time. Unlike the short story The Sentinel, where it is a pyramid shape on the moon, here it is a monolith on the earth. This is a choice Kubrick made for drama and storytelling considerations. But from a technical point of view, if there was some kind of sentinel on the earth for hundreds of thousands of years, it could have ended up at the bottom of the ocean or any other inaccessible place. But in this film, it suddenly appears beside a bunch of sleeping hominins. This is where Kubrick combines his first two inspirations, a sentinel and bones as weapons, at about the 13-minute point. One of the hominins, and eventually all of them, touch the monolith, while some eerie music, almost angelic music, announces this momentous occasion. While eating dirt at about 15 minutes, the first hominin that touched the monolith notices a bunch of bones, and the music of Richard Strauss, also Sprach Zarathustra, announces that this hominin has learned or evolved to the point of picking up a bone and using it to smash the other bones. Whereas all the rocks in the foreground and background somehow go unnoticed and not potential weapons. At about the 18-minute point in the film, while the two opposing tribes are threatening each other for control of the pool of stale dirty water, our evolved hominin that touched the monolith and picked up the bone uses it as a weapon to clobber into submission the opposing tribe. At this point, I'd like to repeat that this concept of bones as weapons was not Kubrick's own original idea. He got this idea from the popular book African Genesis. You might say that all this seems fine, but in reality this is opposite to what actually happened in our mammalian prehistory. There's a very good PBS documentary called Dawn of Humanity. It is a 2-hour-long documentary available on the pbs.org website. But I'll just focus on the section where they say the premise of early mammals using bones as weapons is not correct. Early mammals could use any number of tools or weapons, stones and twigs being the easiest to find. And of course, the other mistake is the concept that a single mammal could somehow evolve, whereas the concept of Darwinian evolution involves mating organisms which produce random mutations, resulting in certain characteristics becoming more or less common within a population over successive generations. Whereas Kubrickian evolution apparently occurs to a single male mammal that touches an alien monolith. Actually, if you look at the whole film, it is all about male evolution. I'm going to end this part here and will continue my analysis of the film in the next video. Over and out.